I want to ask you this.
Uh-oh.
I guess I never really thought to ask you until now. So May is Foster Awareness Month, so we thought we would do a video talking about why we became foster parents.
Yeah, and for those of you who have been with us for a while, we did a very, very early video, probably when like nobody was watching our channel.
Yeah, long time ago.
Very long time ago, back when we had time to sit and have conversations in front of the camera.
Definitely over a year ago, because Sawyer wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, Sawyer was not here. Yeah, so we thought we would kind of share, again, why we went down this path, becoming a foster family, and kind of like where it's led us so far.
So we both, I think, had an idea of becoming foster parents.
But who was first?
I think you brought it up in the relationship first.
Probably.
But we had talked about it like even before we got married.
Yeah.
Like I think it was always in the plan.
Yeah, I think it was, for me, when I was younger, I had an aunt, technically a great aunt, who, was a foster mom. They were a foster family, and there were always kids coming, in and out. And I think like at the time, I was too young to really understand what was going on, but I really just kind of liked that big family kind of feel. It was, always inviting. It was always like welcoming. And that's how I kind of like, it piqued my interest. And so, when I got older and I learned a little bit more about what it was, I knew that when I was older, I wanted to be a foster mom. And so, yeah, I'm sure we talked about it really early on.
Even before we got married, I knew her aunt and I knew that part of the family. And I think at the time,
they were still
they
fostering?
still had some foster kids, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's my Aunt Pam. And I think very soon I'm going to do an interview with her because she was so influential in my path individually in wanting to become a foster mom. They were fostering for years, and so she's seen it all. I'm pretty sure she has a doctorate in psychology. They took in, I think they were qualified as like a therapeutic home, so they took in more challenging cases and kids maybe who are dealing with another level of trauma.
Yeah, I think Pam would offer a very unique perspective because
Definitely.
she has had more than a dozen foster kids, right?
And they have 4 kids of their own as well.
And I think your cousins would be a good interview too, to hear their perspective because all 4 of them were raised, always having foster kids in the house.
It is something that I want to do and talk to my cousins about their experience. I've also met some other people along the way, previous coworkers who were a part of a foster family. And, just personally, I think it would be great for us to interview and ask those questions so that as Darcy and Sawyer get older, we can best adapt.
My whole reason, growing up as a kid, there were kids in my extended family that didn't have a place to go. And ended up staying with family. It's called Kinship Care. And so it was always kind of in the back of my mind that there was a need for something like that. And we both know that drugs and a lot of different things have hit Cincinnati really hard.
Yep.
So there's a need for a lot of foster homes.
Yeah, if you follow us on Instagram, right now we're posting foster facts to raise awareness for Foster Care Awareness Month. And one of those is talking about the opioid crisis and how, as that rises, so do the amount of kids who come into care. So Kinship Care is where a child is going to be removed from the home, but ideally there is going to be family who is able and willing to take them in. So they have the space, they have the resources, and that is going to be the best situation for the kiddos because they are still a part of their family. They have that connection. It's less traumatic to be removed and live with family.
And the county is going to look for that first. So when a child's removed from the home, they're they have like priorities of like kind of going down the list. And number one is going to be some kind of kinship.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a family member. Sometimes it's like a teacher or something like that.
A neighbor, somebody close with the family.
Yeah.
So as a foster family, you come into play after that. So if they don't have any kinship available to take in that kiddo, then they look at licensed foster families. So we've been licensed for about 1.5 years now. We started the process like over 2 years ago, starting with our training and application and that whole process, the home study process.
One other thing I want to add about kinship too. So not only does the county prioritize kinship when they're first placing a child, but they also prioritize it even through the placement in your home. So our first placement, I guess it's been a little over 1 year now. She was only with us for a couple months.
Yeah, 7 weeks.
And when she left, she went with kinship.
Yep.
That's, because if kinship steps up and, hears about what's happening with the child and they can show that they have a safe place and they go through the home study process and all that, they will put them in there.
I guess for us at the time, my plan or what I had kind of envisioned for our family was, we would have kids, have a family, and then once they got to be a certain age, maybe once they, went to college or whatever, then we would be we would, start the fostering process. And we kind of talked about this in the millennial video, which I'll link up here. That is, basically what we were thinking was going to be our plan. So then I'm still really embarrassed to say this, but I think it's a really good thing because there are different TV shows, movies, things like that bring awareness. Even our channel, like our main goal is to bring awareness to foster care so that people who may not have previously considered, going down this path and becoming a foster family will look into it. And, something that I was watching at the time a couple of years ago was This Is Us. And I don't even know if it's I think it's still on the air. I'm not entirely sure. I stopped watching it, but there was, a little bit into the season that they introduced the, storyline of foster care. And for us, it just kind of restarted the conversation. And we started to realize that the need is out there. John mentioned, in Cincinnati, there's like a big opioid epidemic, and that leads to more kids who are in care. We were just looking at each other like, what's preventing us other than it might not be easy, it might not be convenient,
right.
like why are we not doing it now?
Yeah.
And so then we started talking about it again.
Yeah. I want to ask you this.
Uh-oh.
I guess I never really thought to ask you until now. Based on how our journey as foster parents has gone, is it what you expected it would have been before we did it?
I would say not what I expected, and only because at first when we got licensed, I thought because the need was so high in our area that we would be getting placement calls right away, and we didn't. It was a very long time in between placements, and from when we got licensed to our first placement, and then we took a little bit of a break, and now we have our second placement who's been with us for quite some time. So I would say no, I thought it was going to look a little different. We thought that we were going to foster younger kids. We thought that, the age range that would best suit us and our family would be 5 to 10. Kind of glad that it's not. Yeah. Our 2 younger kiddos already provide enough chaos as it is. We don't need any more 5-year-olds running around here. Definitely not. And even with the challenges of our first placement, as a teenager, which feel free to go back to our previous videos if you want to see some highlights. We always try to maintain confidentiality. Well, we do maintain confidentiality, but we don't try to give too much information that would
compromise.
Honestly, I feel if whenever Miss A does return home, we've talked about this before, we're probably going to take an extended break, probably going to wait a little bit before we start accepting any other calls. But really, I don't know about you, but I feel like our age range is really 10 to 15.
I think so, yeah.
And no younger.
Yeah.
And I don't think you hear that much.
No, I think a lot of people want babies, obviously.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's
want babies,
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where people think, 1 either a baby is not going to have gone through as much trauma or remember the trauma, that sort of thing. Also, babies are just cute. I mean, Sawyer's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
We love Sawyer. Also, you do have, people who are going into foster care with, hopes of adoption, if that comes up. And so, if people are experiencing, infertility or things like that, what fits them is, raising a baby and hopefully that leading to adoption. So since you put me on the spot, what do you think? Has it been what you have expected?
I guess I'll start sort of like with the training. The training and like what I learned about everything is not what I expected.
Yeah.
Foster parents have like so little power and like say in anything. Like it's really interesting, like the role that foster parents like actually have. Like everything we're responsible to do, but then how little
like
we're
our
allowed
voices
to do.
heard?
Yeah. But then like the actual placements, like I don't think like it could have gone any better. Like Miss A is an amazing kid. And, like,
Yeah.
I think our kids are just gonna be so much better off for knowing her and having that experience.
Yeah, as a foster parent, there's a lot more gray area than I thought that there would be. Quite often we get in the comments when we're experiencing an issue, people bring up prudent parenting. We thought, like all of you, that prudent parenting where, how would you define that? This is like your expertise because you ask so many questions in training about this.
I asked a lot of questions in training because they like teach you something and then they contradict it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I want to
like what is prudent parenting?
Yeah.
So you're saying that we can, you trust us to make a certain decision for the child if it's within reason, based on the child, based on the case, based on the family. Oh, but no, that's not true. Right. Because if you do that and it doesn't go well, you get a slap.
Yeah. But yeah, prudent parenting is just basically what you said. Like, we are given some kind of leeway to make a decision if we have to, without getting approval from a caseworker or somebody.
So, and like not what we've experienced, but an example of that would be, sleepovers is a big one. Like, technically, a foster kiddo has to be in a home, sleeping over in a home that has gone through certain training and certain qualifications and background checks and that sort of thing. Prudent parenting says, at a certain age and, under a certain situation, that family that they're going to stay the night with, they don't actually need that. It's an okay situation. But if anything were to come up in that situation, the foster parents would be to blame that you made the wrong decision. So, but I think for me, I always knew that navigating, caseworkers and court and, all the hoops you have to jump through, that's going to be challenging. I didn't think it would be as draining. I didn't think that it would get to me as much as it does. So I definitely empathize with, foster parents who've been doing this for so long and who have experienced so much. There is a lot that is, you just are shaking your head like, why?
It could be very defeating at times.
Yes, but still incredibly worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything about how we did it, the timing of everything.
Let us know in the comments below, guys. We want to know why you became foster parents or why you were thinking about becoming foster parents.
Definitely. Honestly, we love hearing, in the comments. I love seeing people say like, oh, this makes me want to think about this in the future, or, I've already been thinking about this, like this is like exactly why we're doing what we're doing, and we're trying to share this journey with you all.
That is it for this video, guys. We appreciate you watching.
Make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.